What's up, you guys? It's Steve here, and we've got a lot of updates regarding stimulus. This is your stimulus check update and your stimulus package update. As today, we saw GOP leaders provide a counteroffer to President Joe Biden, and this is in response to his request to get bipartisan support on the next stimulus package. Now, just to clarify, this is the infrastructure bill, the infrastructure package that's going to be broken up into two separate parts. Now, the first part is going to be physical infrastructure, known as the American Jobs Plan. The second part is going to be social infrastructure, they're calling it, and it's going to be known as the American Families Plan. And it's in that second part where we could see other provisions that could equal money in your pocket, like a fourth stimulus check, further unemployment extensions, or even more child tax credits. Now, I'm going to be covering all the details on this and what's unfolded today, but in addition to that, speaking of unemployment, if you missed today's earlier video, be sure to check it out where I let you know we now have 25 states that could be ending the federal unemployment provisions early. We have 24 officially, and then one that announced just a little while ago they could be added to the list. So be sure to check that out right after you watch today's video. But I'm going to get you caught up on the latest on everything that's unfolding today regarding stimulus. Today is May 27th, 2021. But before we dive in, if you could do me a quick favor, just takes a second. If you appreciate these updates, don't forget to smash the like button, leave your comments, share this out on social media platforms. And if this is your first time here, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell. And you can always expect videos from Steve at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, Monday through Friday. And if you want to reach me and have any questions that you need answered, Instagram is the best way at SteveRam3. But with that being said, you guys, let's go ahead and dive right in. And I'm going to get you caught up on the latest that's unfolding today regarding stimulus. All right, so first up, let's take a look at this article that just came out today. This was breaking news when it came out that GOP leaders provided a counteroffer to President Joe Biden. Now, link in the description below. The article says Senate GOP unveils its $928 billion infrastructure counteroffer to Biden, and here's what's in it. Now, we're going to be taking a look at the details of what's included, but first, let's take a look at this actual news press release that came out earlier today.
Due to chip shortages, and now we have a Republican counteroffer on infrastructure. Let's get to our Elon Moy. Hey, Elon.
Hi, Carl. That's right. Republican senators are now releasing their counteroffer to President Biden's infrastructure proposal. And the amount that Republicans are now willing to accept is $928 billion. That's the size of their latest offer. And that includes an additional $200 billion for your core infrastructure like roads and bridges. That's higher than the previous GOP proposal of about $300 billion for that amount. It also includes $4 billion for electric vehicles. The new GOP proposal also includes more money for water infrastructure, a $20 billion infrastructure financing facility. But even at $928 billion overall, that is still significantly smaller than the $1.7 trillion that President Biden has suggested as the number he is willing to hit in these bipartisan negotiations. So we will be hearing from GOP senators any moment now as they unveil this proposal. Certainly they say this is a sign that they are willing to compromise and work together to come to common ground on what should be a bipartisan issue.
And in the meantime, I guess we can assume that this will not touch the 2017 tax law.
No, that's something that Republicans have made clear is a red line. What I have been told is that some of the ways they plan to pay for this, not outlined in the briefing materials that we got, but some of the ways they plan to pay for this is by using repurposed COVID funds. There's also some debate over whether or not to use enhanced IRS enforcement, close that tax gap as a way to pay for this. All of those things are currently being discussed because that is, of course, the thorniest issue in these negotiations.
So there you have it. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. And now let's take a look at this article that's going to be sharing with us what was actually included in this counter offer. Then we'll take a look at the response we've already gotten from progressives. And then we'll take a look at a fourth stimulus check being included in the second portion of this infrastructure package. So the article says the plan put forward by a group led by GOP Senator Shelley Moore Capito of West Virginia includes $506 billion for roads, bridges, and major infrastructure projects, including $4 billion for electric vehicles, $98 billion for public transit, $72 billion for water systems, $65 billion for broadband, $56 billion for airports, $46 billion for passenger and freight rail systems, $22 billion for ports and waterways, $22 billion for water storage, $21 billion for safety efforts, and $20 billion for infrastructure financing. And it says Biden's latest offer to Republicans came in at $1.7 trillion, which is $600 billion less than his original plan. He has urged the GOP to put at least $1 trillion in an infrastructure package. Now, Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell, we actually heard from him, and he said, "We're going to keep talking, and I understand the president is willing to keep talking. We'd like to get an outcome on a significant infrastructure package." So that sounds optimistic that they're going to work towards getting some kind of compromise. Now, in a statement later today, we heard from White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki, who praised constructive additions to the Republicans' proposal, but said that the administration remains concerned about the funding levels for rail systems, public transit, and clean energy. And she added that the White House is, quote, worried that major cuts to pandemic relief funds could imperil pending aid to small businesses, restaurants, and rural hospitals. Now, as for the path forward, the president called Senator Capito and thanked her for the proposal, and to tell her that he would follow up after getting additional details. Psaki said, "We are going to continue to explore other proposals that we hope will emerge." So it sounds like they're still open to other ideas, even though they got this proposal. So there's still work to be done. Now it says to reach a deal, the sides, they would have to resolve not only a gap in the price tag, but also differing visions of how to offset the spending. Now, in their counteroffer, Republicans again rejected Biden's call to raise corporate taxes, contending that they could cover infrastructure costs with funds already allocated by Congress or with transportation user fees. Now, in addition to that, Biden will also have to deal with concerns from within his own party, as some lawmakers worry about the president watering down his vision to win GOP support. Senator Elizabeth Warren said it was not a serious counteroffer. And yes, take a look at this. We already have a response from her today and articles rolling out on it. Now, this one says, Senator Elizabeth Warren on Thursday, she dismissed the GOP's $928 billion infrastructure proposal, taking a much tougher tone than the White House. Warren argued that the GOP plan is not a, quote, serious counteroffer to Biden's proposal. She specifically criticized Republicans for not spelling out how they'd pay for their proposal. And she said, first of all, they don't have a pay force for this. It's not real. They have this illusory notion of how we're going to take money that's already been committed to other places and other spending. And she also said, second part is, I'm not hearing about the green infrastructure, about the importance of when we make these investments, that we're talking about moving our buses to electric, our school buses to electric, our mass transit to electric, so that we're bringing down our carbon footprint and whether or not they put enough money in to do this. Now, Warren also claimed that the GOP proposal would leave behind women because it does not invest in childcare. And she said millions of women are out of the workforce right now, and 1 out of 4 says the reason is because they can't get childcare. So we know that Elizabeth Warren does not approve of the counteroffer, and we heard from the White House that they thanked GOP leaders for the counteroffer, but they said they were open to further offers coming in. As a matter of fact, take a look at this article that just came out today that says, Biden to propose $6 trillion budget to make U.S. more competitive. The president's plan to invest in infrastructure, education, healthcare, and more would push federal spending to its highest sustained level since World War II. And $6 trillion, that is a lot of money that's going to be going to the infrastructure package, which includes physical infrastructure in the American Jobs Plan and social infrastructure in the American Families Plan, which could mean there could be additional funding going towards potential other provisions like stimulus checks and other things. Let's take a look at what this article has to say. It says, President Biden will propose a $6 trillion budget on Friday, tomorrow. That would take the United States to its highest sustained levels for federal spending since World War II, as he looks to fund a sweeping economic agenda that includes large new investments in education, transportation, and fighting climate change. Now, documents obtained by the New York Times show that the budget request, the first of Mr. Biden's presidency, calls for total spending to rise to $8.2 trillion by the year 2031, with deficits running above $1.3 trillion throughout the next decade. Now, the growth is driven by Mr. Biden's two-part agenda to upgrade the nation's infrastructure and sustainably expand the social safety net contained in his American Jobs Plan and the American Families Plan, which is what we had just discussed. Now, in the American Families Plan, we could see potentially that fourth stimulus check. If it's going to be included, that's where it's going to be included. Now, the question is, will it be included? So let's take a look here at an article that just came out that says, stimulus check update, will Congress say yes to a fourth payment? Now, it has been more than 2 months since the third stimulus check went out, and a lot of people are wondering, are we going to see a fourth? Millions of everyday Americans and a growing number of influential lawmakers say that the government needs to continue providing direct relief until the crisis is no longer squeezing the economy. Now, the White House says stimulus checks, they're not free, and that it is up to Congress to decide whether or not they're going to be providing more checks. So the question is, will Democratic leaders in Congress, since they control both the House and the Senate, unify and agree that we need a fourth check? Well, here's what we know so far. Many Americans, they're eager for a fourth check, and the search traffic for a fourth stimulus check has increased and is still holding strong. More than 2.2 million people have now added their names to a pledge to try to get new stimulus checks and to encourage Congress to do so. The Change.org petition asks Congress to support families with a $2,000 payment for adults and a $1,000 payment for kids immediately and continuing regularly these checks throughout the duration of this crisis on a monthly basis. Now, in the latest pitch from lawmakers themselves, 7 members of the House and Ways Means Committee, they have sent a letter to President Joe Biden urging him to include direct payments to his $1.8 trillion proposal to provide more help to families. So we will see if this gets included, but right now we're starting to hear that Congress is backing a fourth check. Now, we haven't heard anything in a while, and of course I have to remind you guys that this could get snuck in at the last minute, but right now it is not currently in the proposal. And we will see, because we haven't heard very much from Congress on this in quite some time, and this just came up a couple days ago, hearing a new push for these checks. So we will see what's included. We don't have a whole lot of details on eligibility or anything regarding the fourth checks, or if they'll even be included, but if they are, we're hearing you can expect that it'll likely be similar eligibility requirements. The amount was unknown, but they're also saying that we're experiencing a K-shaped recovery. So there's a lot of people that the pandemic is pretty much already over for them. They've gone back to work, they're getting back to normal lives. There's a lot of people that are still hurting and could really use these checks. So whatever unfolds, I will be sure to let you guys know here on the channel. So you guys, a lot unfolding regarding stimulus. As I mentioned, there's going to be more stuff rolling out tomorrow. We're going to see how the White House responds to the GOP's proposal, if they're going to have an additional counteroffer, but they are currently in the middle of negotiations, and we'll see what unfolds. Now, I'll keep you guys up to date, and once again, if you missed today's earlier video about unemployment, be sure to check that out, as we currently have about 24 official states ending early the federal provisions of FPUC, PUA, and PEUC, and also a 25th state now that is also proposing that they might join that list. So be sure to check that out if you missed it. And once again, you guys, if you like and appreciate these updates, don't forget to do me a quick favor, just takes a second. Smash the like button, leave your comments, share this out if you think it's valuable. Also, come and join the Ram fam, smash the subscribe button if you haven't already. You can expect videos from Steve at 3 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, Monday through Friday, and also other videos that just might randomly pop up as well. And if you got any specific questions for me, follow me on Instagram at SteveRam3. And if you'd like to see what stocks or cryptos I'm trading right now, what resistances and supports I believe we can look at for the current stock market or the current crypto market, be sure to join the Patreon group as well. And with that being said, you guys, I hope this reaches you well. Like I said, I'll keep you up to date. I'll catch you in the next video. Take care. God bless. This is Steve.